Yo, what's up everybody? Jumpin' here, and today I wanted to give you guys some tips on how to farm legendaries in Anthem. This is a question I get a lot on my YouTube because I have a lot of legendaries. I was actually max power before the update even came out, and now that the update is out and the loot drop is increased, I do feel like it is a lot better. So if you want to go out and farm some legendaries, try some of my tips and see if it will work for you. Now, a lot of this is just personal RNG. Sometimes, from what I've noticed, when you're doing certain activities, you're just getting lucky. That's the reality of it. And then if you're not getting lucky, try maybe doing another activity and maybe you will get lucky in the other activity. So like I said, a lot of it is to do with personal RNG, but these are the things that I like to do to try to get legendaries. Alrighty, so let's go in and talk about this. The first activity I would recommend is the Heart of Rage. This is a great stronghold. You can get a lot of legendaries from farming this stronghold. Now, in reality, I really do not recommend this that much if you are solo queuing or if you're trying to queue with one other friend, so that's a two-man queue. I do not recommend it because a lot of people know about this farm now, and what you will see is that people are just not killing the boss. And I don't recommend killing the boss. The boss takes way too long to kill. You're only going to get a masterwork out of it. You're better off quitting out, starting over, and just going through the entire thing and hoping you'll get legendary drops, or the chest might drop you a legendary, because it happens a lot. So this is something that I would normally recommend with 4 people if possible. Even with 3 people in your group, you will still sometimes spawn at the boss, so it's pretty ridiculous. Now, right now, BioWare has already said that they are going to go ahead and make it so that bosses from strongholds can drop legendaries. So I really do hope that what they're going to do is make it so that the bosses of the strongholds have the highest chance of any enemy to drop legendaries. Because if they do that, and you do have a pretty good shot of getting a legendary from a boss, then you will see people actually kill the boss. And it will fix this problem that you will have if you're trying to solo queue this. So in general, this is a great farm for sure. But I really cannot recommend this to a player who is solo queuing. It's going to take you so long to get a match that it's really not worth it. So there are better things you can do as a solo queue or as a two-man queue, which is what I like to do a lot. I like to two-man queue if possible because normally it's really easy to find one other person to play with. Now, the activity that I recommend, especially for a two-man queue, is actually free play. I love free play. I think it's a lot of fun. And on top of that, it's pretty easy, no matter what the difficulty is. It really depends on your power and what you can handle, but you will be surprised. You can actually kill a lot of enemies fairly quickly in free play, and it seems to have a really high drop chance. I've gotten a lot of legendaries from farming free play. So I want to show you guys the route that I like for free play because I really think that this is a fantastic route, and I've gotten a ton of legendaries from farming this one route. But like I said, if you're in a group, this is great. If you're by yourself, you can handle it, but you want to play on the difficulty that you can handle. If that's GM2, that's fine. If it's GM1, that's fine. Just play on the difficulty that you can handle. And basically what I like to do for my route is I will always spawn in at East Gate. Now from here, really close, I can't really point it out because I can't see it, but there is a cave that is right in this area. It's called the Necropolis. And this is a cave I've showed in my other videos and I talked about it. It's a great cave. I've gotten so many legendaries from that cave. So I would recommend farming that if possible, if you can handle it. The thing is that as you're playing free play and you're doing publics, most of the enemies are going to be your basic non-elite enemies. So they're pretty easy to kill. Where in a cave, the enemies will be elite. So be warned about that. They will be tougher. But if you can take them out and handle it, definitely farm the cave if you can. But what I like to do is when I spawn in, I go into the cave, I clear it, I come out, I look around this area, and I try to find a public. There will always be a public in this area somewhere. Then I will head actually north up to Sanctuary Ruins. Now there will be another public. It is pretty much guaranteed somewhere up here in this area. Once I've done that, I will then travel back down to this area. I will look for another public if I can find it. A lot of times I'll find another public in this area. Then I'll go into the cave, I'll clear the cave, and I repeat. I go back to Sanctuary Ruins, there will be another public up there, and you get the idea. But that is a really great farming route, and I can get several legendaries. Once again, it's all about personal RNG. Sometimes when I'm playing free play, I can play for like an hour and I'm not getting any legendaries. Other times I'll get 2 or 3 legendaries. It just is completely random. Now, a lot of times if I'm not getting drops, I will just go and do something else. I'll try to figure out something else for me to do. And that seems to work for me, at least. I will generally actually get drops when I go and do something else. So maybe that has something to do with it. I'm a really crazy conspiracy theorist when it comes to RNG in this game. When I'm playing with my friends, I'm calling myself Jumpin' Jones, okay? Because I am always coming up with new conspiracies on how the loot works. And I'm telling you guys, they're turning the loot gay. I'm sorry, they are doing it. The legendaries are dropping pink for me, and I don't know why, but I'm always coming up with crazy stuff. And actually, I feel like I've been correct on a lot of it. So you get the idea. Free play, fantastic for farming. I highly recommend it. Now, the other farm I'm about to show you guys is one that I want to say a lot of people know about because I've seen videos about this. I did not figure this out myself. I found this on YouTube somewhere. And this works. This is a great farm, especially by yourself. This is a farm I like to do whenever I'm by myself. And that's going to be farming the Ursix from the contract Disaster Protocol. Now, this comes from Matthias, so just pick up the legendary contract. And I normally will farm this on Grandmaster 3. It's really not so bad. And I am high enough power level to handle it, no problem. But this is great. I mean, you can get a lot of legendaries potentially from this. Now, the way this works is that if you are by yourself or in a 2-man group, you will get an elite Ursix to spawn, and then you kill that Ursix, and then you will just die and you repeat. Now, the elite Ursix does not have as high of a drop rate as the legendary one. But the elite one, you can kill a lot faster. And I mean a lot faster. So I personally like farming the elite one. Especially if I have no friends on and I'm playing by myself. I can just go and do that over and over again. And try to get some drops. Or if I have one other friend on, I'll just help my other friend. And I might get some drops. So that's great. Now, if you are going to do this to farm the legendary Ursix, I would recommend doing this in a 4-man group because then it's going to be a lot quicker because you're going to be able to kill it because there's 4 of you and it's legendary. If you're in a 3-man group, it will be legendary, and that's a problem because it might take a long time for you to kill. Once again, you want to play on the difficulty that you can handle. Now, there's one other thing when it comes to this farm that I really should actually talk about because this is kind of crazy. This farm has gotten a lot better ever since they have released the universal components. And the universal component that I actually recommend for this, because it is absolutely amazing, is emergency power. What this will do is that it will increase your ultimate damage, but when you will die or become critically injured, you will actually get your ultimate back every 2 minutes. Now, most of the time, when you're actually doing this farm, you're going to go to the Ursix, especially if it's an elite. You can use your ultimate, melt it. If you're in a 4-man group and you're fighting the legendary, everyone can spam their ultimate at it, do a crap load of damage, almost kill it, finish it off, and then you die, and when you die, you get your ultimate back. So this will dramatically decrease the time that it takes to actually kill it, and that will actually let you farm this a lot quicker. So I'm actually going to demonstrate this right now, how you actually go about doing this, because as long as you have the legendary contract from Matthias, you can do this anytime you want. If you have nobody on to play with and you want to do this by yourself, or if you and another friend are on and you want to go ahead and do this with them, that's fine. Or if you do have a 4-man group, you can farm this. But I do recommend using emergency power if you have this, because this will help dramatically. Alrighty guys, so I just spawned in, and what we're going to do is we're going to look and see what the objective is. Now, if the objective is investigate the disturbance in the area, that is the correct objective. If it is not, we are simply just going to quit out, and then we're going to search again. Now, the thing is that when you're doing this, you do want to have your match on private so nobody else can join. If you do have a group of friends to do this with, everyone wants to separate. They all want to search it at the same time. And that will dramatically decrease the time it takes to find that objective, because that is a big problem, is actually finding the objective. Sometimes you can just get really unlucky and you're just not going to find the objective quickly. Other times you might get really lucky and you get it right away. Now the other thing is, as you're doing this, don't use consumables. You're just wasting them. But if you are in a group and someone actually finds it, then you can actually go ahead and equip some consumables. Normally, I would recommend ultimate damage, maybe combo damage, whatever will actually help you do a lot of damage. And then go ahead and join that group, because that person can then invite you to the group and invite all your friends to that group. And then you go and you farm. So I'm going to do this now. I'm going to keep searching this by myself until I find investigate the disturbance in the area. Alrighty guys, well I just got investigate the disturbance in the area. And it took me about 5 times of searching to finally find it. Like I said, if you're in a group or you have friends who want to do this with you, it is actually a lot quicker, because everyone can just do it by themselves, and whoever actually gets it can then invite everyone to that group. And it's actually kind of better too, because then you actually have the chance to put some consumables on to make your damage go up for things like your ultimate. Because you're going to see like how amazing this is with emergency power. Because this is something that you could have done before the 1.3 patch came out. So he should be over here. This is one of the spawn points. Now sometimes he will be really close to where you spawn in. Other times he might be kind of further away. Now in my opinion, I don't really like it when he's right next to the spawn point. Because if he's right next to it, you will actually kill him a lot of times before the 2 minutes are up for your emergency power. Now, he's always going to come out of this spot wherever the turn-in point is. So I don't have my ultimate right now. And what I like to do is do some combos on him with my ranger. So normally I actually just stop shooting him. That way the fire effect will go away and I can set him up. I'm actually going to get my ultimate now. So I'm going to try to just lock onto him and not the scorpions. But that will do a lot of damage to him. And remember, this is an elite one, where if you're in a 3-man group or 4-man group, this will be a legendary every single time, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, when you're by yourself, you got to be kind of careful. He will pretty much always one-shot you. This is Grandmaster 3, by the way. But if he hits you with, like, that rock that he throws, he will absolutely one-shot you. So you have to be careful about that. Let me go ahead and try to set him up. And yeah, the combos do decent damage. If I had consumables on, this would be even better. Also, I forgot to switch my setup. I actually have my support gear on now, where you don't want to use support gear if you don't have it on. It makes you stronger. But now that he's dead, I'm not going to pick up the drops, but I am going to let the scorpions now kill me. If there are other enemies in the area, because now for some reason in the contracts there are like additional enemies, you can use them to help kill you if the scorpions just randomly die or you can't find them, because sometimes that will happen. You can drown yourself if you find some water. You can get struck by lightning. Every time you do this one, there's always lightning. So you can just get struck by lightning and that will kill you, especially on Grandmaster 3. That will kill you like all the time. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much something that you can do by yourself or in a group. And this is a fantastic way of farming legendaries. Sometimes you can get really lucky and get multiple legendaries back to back. Other times you might do this for like an hour and you will get nothing. So once again, it's really all about the RNG. That is the reality of it. But the more time you spend playing, the more time that you just try to experiment with different things like upping your luck, whatever. I mean, that's another thing, of course. You do want to always try to have 90% luck if possible. I currently do not with this setup, so that's probably one of my issues. So I just want to put that out there. But, like, you definitely want to try to have at least 90% luck. And some people have been debating the whole 90% thing now. They've been, like, trying to farm with, like, 200% luck, and they're doing, like, the Heart of Rage or whatever. And they are saying they're getting a lot of legendaries. I personally feel like BioWare should actually up the drop rate again to kind of counteract luck, and then just remove the luck stat from the game. I really hate the luck stat, I'll be honest. Because forever, and I mean for literally ever, you're going to want to have luck. Because you're always going to want drops. There's never going to be a time when you're going to say, you know, I don't really want any more drops, you know? I just don't want drops anymore. So I'm not going to use luck. And by not using luck, I'm going to be the strongest I can be. No one is going to really do that. And that is a huge problem, I think. I think that they should honestly remove the luck stat from the game and maybe replace it on any piece of gear that currently has luck. I think that they should actually replace the luck stat with something, because you don't want to make like certain pieces of gear that people might have that actually are really good pieces of gear. It just so happens that those pieces of gear actually has luck on it. So if they were to like make luck useless, then that gear might be considered useless. So they should replace the luck stat on those pieces of gear with something else. Maybe it could be something good, like if it's on your gear, your L1, your R1, and you have luck on those, it can turn into damage. Same with the weapons, it can turn into damage. If it's on a component, they can turn it into like ultimate speed or something, who knows. But like replace those stats and then just remove it from the game and just increase the drop rate to kind of counteract the whole removing of luck. But that would be a much better system, because if people are trying to stack luck, they're saying, okay, well, if you have 300% luck, then you're going to get more drops. People are going to be so much weaker because they're doing that. And if you're playing with people who are doing that, and let's say those people are randoms, you're going to have a much harder time getting through strongholds and things like that, because you're playing with people who are actually making themselves really weak on purpose to try to get more drops. And that is just really, really dumb. So I really hope that BioWare will do something about this. I don't like this whole luck thing where everyone wants to use luck. Oh yeah, check this out. I'm about to die here. Ah, hello. But yeah, lightning will absolutely one-shot you on Grandmaster 3. It's completely fair. But yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for the video, guys. I wanted to just show you guys some of the techniques that I use to get legendaries. One, of course, is just farm Heart of Rage. Normally, I would recommend that with a group of friends, 4 players if possible. I like to farm free play by myself or with a group. Normally, a group of 2 is really good for that. And then finally, I like to do this too. Sometimes in a group of 4, but a lot of times I'll do this by myself, or I'll do this in a group of 2. I would appreciate it, guys, if you could actually like this video for me. Be sure to subscribe for future Anthem videos, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.